All righty, guys. So welcome. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. I'm Stacey Whitmer, like everybody knows. I am the team captain of Team on a Mission, and I'm so excited that I shared this call out with our big team because I wanted everybody to hear the magic of this incredible woman. Pammy Shepley is an NMD. She's a 100 Club National Marketing Director. Truly, I do believe it's more than 100, but they just kind of coined the phrase 100 Club. But we truly know that it's hundreds, multiple club. She lives in Dedham, Massachusetts with her husband, Roger, who is also an NMD on her team. They have two adult daughters, Ellie Shepley, who's a 50 Club National Marketing Director, and her other daughter, Julia Shepley, is a sales coordinator and building an empire right along with the rest of their family. Pammy has been with the Juice Plus company since 2003. She and her team have won 2 Elton Awards. Oh, I just got chills. That's fantastic. 24 Club Member of the Year in 2009 and 39 Club Member of the Year in 2012. That's so incredible. I just got chills again. Pammy's background is in elementary education. She taught kindergarten for 25 years before retiring in June of 2007 to pursue her Juice Plus career full time. She loves that the financial health she loves that Juice Plus allows her to make a difference in people's physical and financial health, all while giving her time freedom, flexibility, and relationships that will last a lifetime. She still sees herself as a teacher, but she is no longer confined to a classroom. Building a Juice Plus team over the last 15 years has brought endless fulfillment, friendships, and fun. So Pammy Shepley is someone who I met at an event. I also trained for her daughter Ellie when Ellie lived in the city. And I will tell you that, when I think of Pammy Shepley, I think of absolute beauty. I think of class. I think of wisdom. She has so many incredible nuggets, guys. And we are so blessed to be able to grab some of her wisdom from her tonight to make all of us better. We want to surround ourselves by people that make us rise up, right? People that inspire you. Well, this is someone that I absolutely am inspired by, and I'm so blessed and honored to introduce this wonderful woman, Miss Pammy Shepley.
Oh, thank you. Isn't that the nicest introduction I think I've ever gotten?
Oh my gosh, you're the greatest. I'm so grateful.
When I got your box reminding me to be on the call tonight, I said to Roger, I said, oh my God, Stacey's amazing. She could be president of the United States. So all those nice things you just said to me, I say right back to you. I have great admiration for you and Letty and what you guys have created. I love hearing you train, and I do feel as if I learned so much from you guys. So it doesn't matter where you are in this business, we can all learn from each other, and everybody brings their strengths and gifts to the table, and you certainly have, both of you, brought so much to our company and to so many of us. And the other thing I'll say about both of you is what we call go-givers in the business, that you're real go-givers, not just go-getters, but you give and give and give. And that is really what makes our culture and this business model as a whole just so unique, because it is a culture of generosity and giving to each other, and that is such a beautiful place to live in as far as I'm concerned. And I think it comes right down from the top, from our president, because he's just such a giver himself, being in his 70s, and he still travels probably 25 days of the month. He's out of his mind. But anyway, so thank you for having me. And the topic for tonight, I couldn't help but just make this about summer, because I don't think you can ignore I think it's important when whatever's going on in your Juice Plus business to just be real about it and talk about it. So when Stacey asked me to talk and we were trying to think of a topic, I just thought, well, let's just talk about what's going on right now, which is that it's summer. And I don't know about you guys, but often my team has this feeling that in the summer everything gets quiet and it's hard to build a business. So I want to just put a different spin on that, because first of all, I think your mindset is everything. And if you say that it's quiet, then it's quiet. And if you say nothing's going on, nothing's going on. But if you say, actually, summer is an amazing time to grow a Juice Plus business, then it truly can be. So let's just talk a little bit about what can make summer one of the most productive seasons of a Juice Plus year. So my business actually started in the summer. So that's why I've always sort of felt this way about how you can grow this at this time of year. And for those of you who don't know my story, my sister shared Juice Plus with me in the early summer of 15 years ago, so 2003. And the long story is that it didn't make sense to me, and I'm not going to go into that. The fact is it eventually made sense to me within a couple of weeks. And because she was lovingly persistent, I finally did come on board, and I had 2 daughters at the time. They were at camp with her daughters and perfect candidates for the Children's Health Study. I loved that they could get it at no cost. And we got on board. And right as I came on, my sister also very smartly invited me into the business. She never just talked about the product really to anybody. She always talked about the business. And let's talk a little bit about that tonight too. So she said to me, you should do this with me. And she showed up at the beach with her pocketbook and sat down next to me and pulled out a check and held it up and goes, look what I just got for being number 1 on the company bulletin at Juice Plus. And 2 things went through my mind. One is that I wanted that $500 really badly. I had credit card debt, and I thought in my mind $500 extra a month would totally make a difference for me. So I wanted to grab the check and run. But obviously I couldn't. The other thing that went through my mind was, the second thing was that she is number 1 on the company bulletin, and she's only been in this business for a few months. I said, she is going to be prosperous and successful and I'm not going to be left behind. I was competitive. I'm competitive. The younger sister, competitiveness came out in me, and we were both school teachers, and I thought, oh my gosh, she is going to take off with this thing and leave me in the classroom. And I just wasn't going to have that happen. So I jumped in and said, okay, I'm going to do this with you. And I paid my $50. And what I will say is that the product actually over time completely changed the picture of our health, putting an end to years of antibiotics and over-the-counter meds. We threw away the Metamucil, the Advil, and the NyQuil, got my husband, or kept him off statins. He was kind of borderline. His cholesterol went down 60 points. Both he and my daughter, Ellie, had seasonal allergies, which completely went away, so no more Flonase and Claritin. And then my youngest daughter weaned herself off of her ADHD meds completely. And this really had my attention as a teacher. So I was knowing that I was going to share this, but I also was really building my belief about it and feeling that everyone deserved to know about this. And I was getting educated at the same time. So oftentimes people will say, I don't have a story yet. If you don't have a story yet, just listen to other people's stories and start getting educated, and your belief will become so strong that you won't need to have your own story. You just will be able to do it based on, this just makes sense, and look what it can do. Look what fruits and vegetables can do. So I started to share this, and what my idea was $500 extra a month would make a huge difference. I made that pretty quickly in the first couple of months, and then I thought, well, that was easy. I can double that. And then I doubled it, and I said, well, that was doable. I'll double that and double that. And I did this while I was very busy. So I know that this can be done when you cannot fit one more pea on your plate. You can still do Juice Plus, and that is a selling point for this business. And you guys know that, and you're taught by your leaders all the time that you can work this into any time that you have. And what I did was, in 3 years working this part-time, I retired myself from teaching. I had taught for 25 years. It wasn't that I didn't like teaching, but I wanted, for the first time in my life, I had time freedom and I had no debt. And that felt really, really good. So off I went. I was still educating, like Stacey said, not confined to a classroom, no ceiling on my income, and I continued to build this. I was able to retire Roger at age 60. So now he can go off sailing and skiing and not worry about paying for my shoes that I like to buy, and my pocketbooks and my facials and my massages and all the other things I like to indulge myself in. And both my daughters have joined the business, as Stacey said. It's incredibly fun to do this with them. And they're building their own financial dreams. And it's really just incredibly rewarding to watch them do that. And what I love is that as a team, we're impacting over 10,000 lives every single day. And as a teacher, I used to impact 17. I really loved doing something that's worthwhile and being paid what I'm worth. So with that, I want to talk about how I started this in the summer. So here's what I love about summer. I remember the thing about summer is that you're out and about. And I remember literally signing my application or just about getting going with it. And I went to the pool to pick up my kids, and there was one of my friends. I told her what I was doing. I didn't even know what having a story meant then, but I obviously told her my story. I just said, I'm doing this thing called Juice Plus, and you need to know about it, Audrey. And she said, what is it? I said, fruits and vegetables in a capsule. She said, sign me up. I was just like, oh my God, this will be easy. Because I got my first customer by the pool. Well, of course, they weren't all that easy after that, but it did give me confidence. And so I've always thought about summer being a time when you're out and about and with people. You're not huddled up in the car. I mean, we live in New England, right, guys? In the winter, it's like everybody's running from building to building from their cars, have their hats on, their coats. Nobody's talking to each other. Everybody's sort of in a bad mood. Now we're in summer. People are, just lighter. They're out. They're open to talking. Just everybody feels better. So it's a time when you can really connect with people. And my other summer story is going to a yoga studio in Maine where I, was taking a yoga class, and a woman was sitting there talking about not being able to finish building this house. And I went up to her afterwards, again, not really thinking about what I was going to say, but I just knew that I had to tell her about this business, and went up to her and said, hey, tapped her on the shoulder. I have no idea if you'd be interested, but I overheard your conversation about not being able to build your house because you're running out of income. I said, I have a way that you can build a business on the side and make some extra income with something called Juice Plus. Have you ever heard of it? And long and short of it is she was a homeopathic practitioner. She had heard of it. She jumped on board, and she's a big member of my team. But so, I believe that wherever there are people and wherever you can get out and about, you can do your Juice Plus business. You guys know this anyway, but I'm just saying that I feel as if I have built my business, because my warm market obviously was where I started, but eventually my warm market, I went through it all, and now I'm circling back to a lot of them, but I went through it and I needed to find other people. And I kind of knew that right from the beginning, that this was bigger than just the people I already knew, that this is everyone. If you can literally get in the mindset that everybody deserves to know about Juice Plus, and that I always feel as if Juice Plus makes you a friendlier person. And because you're out there, if you can be friendly and spark up a conversation, you just never know where it will lead. And I believe summertime is a time when there are more hours in the day, you're out and about more. So it's just a matter of having that mindset that, what can I control today? What can I do? What conversations can I have? Can I go to a new spinning studio? Can I go to a new yoga studio? Can I shop at a new store? Am I going to be friendly and outgoing? And you can always, always turn the conversation somehow. And Stacey and Letty are masters at this, so I know you've been trained on it, so I'm not going to train you again on it. But you can, say something that will lead them to being able to hear about Juice Plus. And but you have to open your mouth, and you have to have your ears and your eyes open and realize that there are people around you. So that's one piece that I feel like summer is a time when you're out and about seeing people, and the days are longer. And instead of saying to yourself, my goal for the summer is to get to sales coordinator, or get to senior sales coordinator, or I'm going to be a Q come hell or high water, forget that goal. Make your goal instead, my goal this summer is that I am going to have 5 conversations a day. And that could be with new people, but it could also be circling back to old people. It could be doing, just extraordinary customer care. I know you guys have your system where you have your days of the week and everything, you do it. But the bottom line is, if you can make your goal something that you can actually can control, then that's a much better goal than I'm going to be at Q by Tampa. It's like, how? How? You've got to chunk it down into these little things. Like, what are you going to do? So one is make that goal. I'm going to have 5 conversations a day. And then you guys ever heard Karen Jones's story that she did that when she was going for NMD, and she would make herself stop somewhere on the way home. If she hadn't had her 5th conversation or her 4th, she'd make herself stop at a gas station and have a conversation with somebody. So that's how in control you are of this. If you really want this, you really can do it. So tear up your excuses on that one. The other thing that I think summer is amazing for is events. Because again, it's beautiful weather. People are happy to go out, in the evening because they don't have to worry about slipping on the snow or getting freezing cold, or it's not pitch black out. Here it's light out. So people, if you have a wine and wellness at 5 or 4:30 or whatever, people will come because they're feeling just more like socializing, and it's easy to throw on a shift and go out and socialize. So take advantage of that. Just the way I said you can focus on, I'm going to talk to 5 people. What if you say I'm going to have 5 events a month? I'm going to have 5 events. Okay, so then what would those be? I love to do a morning thing where I have smoothies and solutions. I'm going to make it at a time where I know everybody's exercised, and then they're going to come over to my house. We're going to have smoothies and talk about Juice Plus. And then if I put it on the calendar and I make a cute flyer, then I have something to invite to people. So when I go out and I'm having my conversations, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, come to my house and have one of these smoothies. They're so yummy. And there will be other people like you. There's a couple of yoga teachers coming. There's some other runners that I know you really relate to. And it's like, it gathers momentum if you have something like that. Like when you first make the flyer and put it on your calendar, you're like, uh-oh, I don't know if anybody's going to come to this. It's like, maybe I'll just be all alone having my smoothie. But you know what? That's the worst that can happen, right? It never does happen. You always get at least one person. Another thing that I like to do is I like to take my list that I'm prospecting and get one person to say yes. So say I get a person to say they'll come over for a smoothie. Then I turn it into an event. I make the flyer go, oh, I already got one person, so I'm going to turn it into an event. And that has always worked really, really well. Like I've never just had that one person over. If I make the intention to get, and the reason I like to get the one person first is because then it's like it feels as if, all right, then I at least have one and I have a date and a time that works for her. So then I'm going to bring on people around that. So I like to do that. I also like to do, luncheons. I like to have people over for a big salad off the Tower Garden and then talk about Juice Plus. I like to have sangria and smoothies in the evening. I love happy hour things. We love doing Own Your Life events. And the other thing is do this together. I think that is so much more fun to do this, and you're so much more apt to do it if you have a buddy to do it, whether it be sideline, up, down, wherever. If you can just get somebody to do it with you. And, that way it doesn't feel so lonely. If nobody comes, then it's the 2 of you, and at least you can get drunk together. No, I'm kidding. No, what you can do is you get that one guest to come and you do the whole thing around them. And by the end of the evening, you've completely got them on your team because you can focus on that one person. Honestly, people will say to me, how many do I have to an event? And I always say, well, you want to invite, if you want 3 there, invite 30. But quite frankly, if all you get is 1 or 2, it's still worth doing it. You never cancel an event. You guys know that. So I think summer is the greatest time in the world for events. And just to put them on the calendar. If you don't, nothing's going to happen, right? If you don't do anything, nothing will happen. The other thing I would say is to, this idea of dressing for success, which I was joking with you, Stacey, because you look so nice. But it used to mean in the beginning that you would go out with a little pouch in your purse, and it would have your gummies, and it would have your samples, and it would have your brochures and all this stuff. It doesn't really mean that anymore because everything's virtual, right? But this is what I like to do. If I know I'm going somewhere, I think ahead of time, who am I going to see, and can I bring them a smoothie? If I'm making one for myself, I make an extra for them. And that has gotten me more people interested by showing up at the hairdresser with a smoothie for them. for my manicure with a smoothie for them, at your doctor's office with a smoothie for the doctor, for the receptionist. Just, and you can bring a little packet of the complete so that they know what they're getting, so they're not like thinking they're being poisoned by you. I mean, it is kind of funny. Sometimes they're like, you hand it to them, you think, oh my God, they're never going to drink this because they don't know what's in it. And these days people get nervous about all kinds of allergies and stuff. But your trainer, your yoga teacher, whatever, it's a really nice gesture. And your dog walker, there's just so many people that you can make, your dog groomer, that you can make smoothies for. Just what a nice gesture on a hot summer day. And there's something about summer too that everybody would love, a milkshake. I mean, that's basically what it is, this decadent, yummy thing. And they'll be like, what is in this? And there you go. Opens the conversation, opens the door. So I love that. The other thing is, if anybody comes to your house to do anything for you, like your guy fixing the refrigerator, your person taking care of your lawn, the one cleaning your pool, hello, person in front of you, get the blender going. Walk out with your little tray and your Dixie cups. They think you're the nicest person they've ever met, and they don't realize you're doing this to promote your business. And they just can't believe what a nice person has bringing them a milkshake. So, and I have gotten customers, the upholstery guy that comes to clean your couch, that you just never know. And if you do it enough, you will get, 2 out of 10 end up ordering. And they may not become big reps on your team, but hey, an order's an order, right? The guy that fixed the refrigerator, the computer guy, if they come into their house and your house and you don't talk to them about Juice Plus, naughty. And I don't just mean the product. I mean also saying to them that this is, telling them your story. This is the business you do. I like to say to the pool guys, how do you think I afford this pool? This is my business, paid for this pool, built this pool. Are you looking for extra income? Or do you keep your options for income open? So anybody who comes into your house deserves to hear about this. So the other thing, let's just talk a little bit about this, what you are sharing when you're out there, because I'm saying, bring smoothies, talk about the product and all that. And of course, you guys, if you have kids, you're at the park, you're at swimming lessons with your kids, you're around a lot of parents. So again, same thing. Bring a pitcher of smoothies for everybody and do it with all of them. But the other piece to this that I think bears mentioning is when you're out and about, in our culture of Juice Plus, we're very product oriented because we do have an amazing product, and we've always been taught to lead with the product. I believe that there's definitely a time and place to lead with the business, and that it's more often than you think. And if you do get in the habit of sharing your business story, you can always default to the product. But if you start with your product story, you can't default to the business. You can't say, after they say, I'm not interested in Juice Plus, well, how would you like to sell something you're not interested in? It just doesn't work. But you can go from the business to the product. Well, you may not be interested in the business, but our products are for everyone. And you're gonna just be bowled over when you hear, what they are and what they can do for you. But so here's what I have found is that people get their product story down because most of us come into this because we love the products and we want to get healthy and share them. But at the end of the day, we're all here. We all stay because we love the business, right? So why do you love the business and why are you doing this? If you have not got your story, your business story at the tip of your tongue and don't know what to say when you are ready to share it with someone, then that is your assignment tomorrow. And if you don't know where to begin, go on Healthy Living, The Freedom Revolution, and watch the video about the business story, and then send it in an email or a text to your sponsor. And if your sponsors, and your sponsor, copy it up till you reach an NMD to help them help you craft that story and get it down to an economy of words. Remember when you'd write an English paper and the teacher would put red marks all over it and go, well, you could have said this in 2 sentences and you have a whole big paper? That's how to think of your your business story is, what are the 2 sentences that you can say to someone to get their attention about this business? And if you guys haven't read this book, have you guys read this yet? Have you done a book group or anything with your team? We're doing book groups with our team. And if you don't have time to read it, get it on Audible. Her voice is really fun to listen to. And it is one of the most inspiring things to read. And this woman leads with the business, and she's $1 million earner. And she has kind of an answer to every excuse, every question. So I'm listening to this for the second time and reading it, and we're doing a book group. Here's what I feel about good books in our business is that you can never read them too many times, because you don't grasp it all the first time. So even if you've read it once, pick it up and read it again. You can read these books. It's like listening to Jim Rohn and listening to GoPro, all those, again and again and again, until it becomes really starts coming out of you. You start sounding like her, talking like her. And she's really, you want to sound like her. She's a lawyer. She sounds like Stacey and Letty. She's really articulate. And you don't have to be her, but just take 1 or 2 tips away from her, and it'll really kind of wake you up a little bit. And the title could not be more appropriate, because it's true that if there's anything going on where your business isn't where you want it to be, or it's not growing as fast as you want, and you start kind of having these excuses that you're making in your head, 90% of the time it can be fixed by this one thing, is that you're just not talking to enough people. That's all it is. It's that simple. And you're not talking to enough people probably because you don't know what to say, because you haven't spent the time really thinking about why you're doing this and why you love it. And then thinking of enough things to say about this that would help another person see what might be in it for them. So it's having a few lines about what this could offer to someone. Flexibility. This is something you can weave into your life. You can add income without disrupting your life. I love to say that. So many people just like you are doing this, and I've seen them be successful, and they're able to have more choices and more things that they can do with their families that they couldn't do before, So it's about immediately, you share your own, but you immediately turn it on them. And you can do a generic one for personal trainers, for hairdressers. I mean, think about these people, why this business would be so amazing. You have no idea whether they're going to say yes or no, or they're looking for it, and it doesn't matter. Your job is to go out there and talk to them and let them know that it exists. And if you do it enough times, it's going to drop on someone that's going to want it. Gretchen and I used to say, wouldn't it be fun if you could walk into a room where there's a whole bunch of people, and there'd just be a light bulb on the top that was turned on the top of the heads of the people that wanted Juice Plus? Wouldn't that be awesome? And then you could just, how easy would our job be? You could just go to the people with the light bulb and tell your story and be like, I'm not going to get a no here. I'm going to get a yes, you're going to join my team. But guess what? That's not the way it is. You have to go through everybody in the room to find the one with the light bulb on the head. And you won't know until you ask. And that's where the whole thing about going through the nose, not getting attached to it, and all that stuff. So make this a summer where you really hone your business story, where you share it, commit to sharing it every day, maybe 5 days a week if you don't want to do it on the weekends, although I think the weekends are some of the best time. And make yourself have some events. Commit to having some events so that when you do have these conversations, you can invite them back to these events. And maybe you don't want them in your house, have virtual ones, and partner up with people. And take advantage of these long, beautiful, sunny days where people are feeling positive and just like they want to be out and about and around people. Just take advantage of it, because soon, before we know it, it's going to be daylight savings and everybody's going to be hunkering down in their homes. And then we're all going to say, oh, it's too hard in the fall and the winter because everybody's inside. So anyway, that's all I have. So you can ask me questions or whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, that was fantastic. I feel like I knew I was going to pull some nuggets, and I certainly pulled more than some nuggets. But I think a couple of things that, you know what it is, Pammy, that we say things so many times that it's nice to hear it from someone else.
Yeah.
You know, this is not reinventing any wheel here.
No.
And, you know, your words were, everyone deserves to know about Juice Plus. You know, and that is 100% the truth. But like you just said, you have to open your mouth. You have to legitimately open your mouth and have those conversations. I've never done what you said, and I flipping love it, about say, hey, do you want to come over for a smoothie party? And if you get one yes, to kind of build an event around that one yes. I love that. That's something I actually have never thought of to do. I think it's a brilliant way to kind of, you're building an event, you've already got one. Bam, it's a success.
Yeah, it is.
Success. I freaking love that. And then the other thing, which is hysterical, is to bring smoothies to everybody. I would never, like, I'm thinking I'm going to get my nails done tomorrow. I'm totally bringing her a smoothie. Wouldn't have thought about it. I always walk in with my smoothie.
Right.
Right?
Look at me. I have a smoothie. It's like, well.
Where's mine? Exactly. It's almost rude. I've been disrespecting her this whole time. I love that.
But Stacey, you're not going to be attached to the outcome, right?
I don't care. I truly don't care.
Go-giver. You're being a go-giver.
I'm being a go-giver. We need t-shirts that say that.
Yeah, and you're putting out good karma. You know, whatever you put out there comes back to you. So if you just be generous and share both the smoothies and your story and whatever else you want to put out there that's good, it'll come back. It'll circle right back to you.
Well, I love this. And I think that's something that I think that as a team, I would like to work more on is our business story. You know, I agree with you that everybody is so good. Like, oh, bring up the product. You know, they've got this. But I feel like that business story is where everyone kind of, they're like product, and it becomes business. And all of a sudden you watch their body language change and everything changes. But like you said, you start with the business, you can always fall back on the product. You start with the product, there's no backup plan. It's done.
There's no backup plan. And obviously there are times when the product's very obvious to lead with, but the business, you know, if you know what to say and you've got your story down, and whatever your story is, it's good enough. That's the other thing is people think, oh, I don't have a good enough business story. All I wanted was $500 a month. I would have gone for $250. And it's not like you have to share that, but what you do need to do is put a quantifiable on the end of your story. And, you know, say something. This is allowing me to pay for the dance lessons for my daughter, you know, or whatever quantifiable, what might relate to the person you're talking to. It's allowed us to, you know, hell, I can buy groceries. It's my Whole Foods money. I can go to Whole Foods and buy my, you know, groceries in a way, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be that you've retired your husband and you know, you're making tons of money. It doesn't, nobody wants to hear about money anyway. They want to hear about what the money allowed you to do. And also how this has changed your life. So, or why you love it. You love doing work that's, that help. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day who came over. That's the other thing I was going to say. In the summer, just entertain more. Have people over for lunch. Just being around friends that you don't even know it's going to turn into a Juice Plus conversation is what happened the other day. And I was able to just start sharing with her what I loved about my business. And I was talking about how it, you know, is such a beautiful place for women to find their self-worth. And I was saying all these things. She started writing it down. What I was saying. And then she goes, what did you just say? What did you just say? So it's just, I think to sit down and spend some time really writing about what you love about this, what it has brought for you and why it's special to you. And then just let it roll off your tongue. People will start to sit up and listen. And also it's the circling back thing. That's the other thing I learned from this book is that just because someone said no to you, this is a time that you can circle back and just ask again. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. What have you got to lose? I don't know what we're afraid of. We all are though. It's human. It's human nature, the ego and all that stuff. So work on that too. And when you're in this mood of sort of like, I don't care, here goes nothing. You know, when you were a little kid and you were going to drive off the diving board and you'd go, here goes nothing. So do that with Juice Plus. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm just going to talk to this person. And it's a high. You kind of feel pretty amazing when you do. You get an adrenaline rush. And
So good.
yeah. All right, enough already. Everybody needs to go to bed.
No, you're good. Thank you so much, Pammy. We are so truly grateful for your knowledge and your nuggets and everything that you shared. We're so grateful for you taking the time to do this, and thank you. Thank you.
You guys, good for you for showing up. Look at, you're the ones who really care about growing your business because you're here tonight and you're showing up, and that's huge. Because even if you just got a tiny little something from tonight, it will impact maybe that you'll do something tomorrow or the next day, and it'll turn into something. So good for you for being here. That just shows you're committed. That's awesome. All right.
That's awesome. They're committed in the summer, right?
Yeah, the summer, exactly. You could be off at a bar drinking margaritas. But you're not. You're working on your business. Good for you.
Awesome.
All right. Love you guys. Have
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Pammy, again. I'm grateful. Have a great night.
Awesome.